The decision to distance yourself from someone who consistently shows disrespect, ingratitude, and chaos is often seen as the most effective means of reclaiming your self-respect, appreciation, and peace. I won't dwell on what this powerful yet sometimes suffocating action says about your character, nor will I extol its virtues as many others have done. Instead, let's delve into why it holds such sway by examining its psychological impact on those left behind. Firstly, let's clarify what walking away entails. It doesn't necessarily involve a dramatic confrontation or a detailed explanation to the person you're leaving behind. In fact, such actions may dilute its potency. True walking away means silently disappearing from someone's life. No forewarnings, no justifications, no breadcrumbs left behind. Your abrupt departure disrupts their expectations and patterns, plunging them into uncertainty and triggering emotional turmoil. Adding a perspective from a Greek philosopher, one might find resonance with the teachings of Epicurus. Epicurus emphasized the importance of living a life of tranquility and inner peace, which he believed could be achieved by surrounding oneself with genuine friends and avoiding unnecessary conflicts and disturbances. In this context, the decision to distance oneself from toxic relationships aligns with Epicurean philosophy as it prioritizes one's mental well-being and serenity. According to Epicurus, true happiness arises from the absence of pain and disturbance, and cutting ties with individuals who sow discord can be seen as a step towards cultivating a harmonious and fulfilling life. Human beings crave predictability and understanding. When you vanish without explanation, it shatters their perception of reality, leaving them scrambling to make sense of the sudden void you've left behind. Their minds race with unanswered questions and unfounded assumptions, breeding anxiety and restlessness. It's akin to being handed a pink slip at work without any rationale. The shock and bewilderment are palpable. What follows is a cascade of emotions: fear of loss, desperation for closure, and a gnawing sense of inadequacy. By withholding your presence, you force them to confront their own shortcomings and reassess their behavior. They're left to grapple with the uncomfortable truth that they've been taking you for granted. Typically, individuals who feel undervalued will redouble their efforts to seek approval. Yet, as history has shown, this often leads to further exploitation or abuse. Walking away disrupts this toxic cycle by withdrawing the very thing they've grown dependent on: your support and generosity. It prompts introspection and, ideally, fosters personal growth. But here's the crux. Walking away isn't about waiting for them to realize their mistakes and come crawling back. That's a naive fantasy that undermines the integrity of your decision. You're not seeking reconciliation, you're reclaiming your autonomy. To entertain hopes of reconciliation is to betray the purpose of your departure and risk repeating the cycle of disrespect. In leaning with this perspective, the philosophy of Stoicism, as advocated by figures such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, provides insight into the importance of maintaining one's inner peace and autonomy. Stoicism teaches individuals to focus on what they can control, namely their own thoughts, actions, and responses to external events. By walking away from toxic relationships, one exercises agency over their own well-being and refuses to be enslaved by the negative influences of others. Stoic principles emphasize the pursuit of virtue, inner tranquility, and emotional resilience, all of which are crucial in navigating challenging interpersonal dynamics and fostering personal growth. The true power lies in severing ties definitively without expectation or remorse. It's about closing the door on toxicity and forging ahead with newfound resolve. Resist the urge to dwell on what could have been or entertain fantasies of redemption. Walk away, reclaim your dignity, and let them reckon with the consequences of their actions. Let me be clear, it's not about reveling in their misfortune, but rather about asserting boundaries and holding people accountable. Justice may be best served cold, but it's served nonetheless. This act of walking away is akin to cutting off dead weight that holds you back from soaring to new heights. It's a declaration of self-worth and a commitment to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being above all else. However, the impact of this decision extends beyond the individual making it. It sends ripples through the dynamics of the relationship, forcing the other party to confront their own behavior and attitudes. For those left behind, the sudden absence of someone they once relied on can be jarring. It forces them to reevaluate their actions and consider the consequences of their behavior. They may initially react with confusion, anger, or even denial, refusing to accept the reality of the situation. However, as time passes and they are left to grapple with the void left by your departure, they may begin to introspect and recognize the role they played in driving you away. Adding a philosophical perspective to this notion, the teachings of the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche shed light on the concept of self-mastery and the importance of asserting one's autonomy. Nietzsche believed in the idea of becoming who you are, which involves overcoming external influences and societal expectations to pursue one's own path to self-actualization. Walking away from toxic relationships aligns with Nietzschean principles by asserting one's independence and refusing to be defined by the toxic dynamics of the past. It is a bold affirmation of one's individuality and a step towards personal growth and fulfillment. In some cases, your decision to walk away can serve as a wake-up call, prompting the other person to address their issues and make positive changes in their life. It may be the catalyst for them to seek therapy, mend broken relationships, or confront their own demons. While this outcome is not guaranteed, it highlights the transformative power of setting boundaries and refusing to tolerate disrespect. Moreover, by walking away, you are reclaiming your agency and asserting control over your own narrative. You are no longer allowing someone else to dictate the terms of your existence or define your self-worth. Instead, you are taking proactive steps to prioritize your own needs and cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. In essence, walking away is not an act of cowardice or selfishness, as some may perceive it to be. Rather, it is an act of courage, self-respect, and empowerment. It is a declaration that you deserve to be treated with dignity and kindness, and that you refuse to settle for anything less. So, if you find yourself in a situation where you are constantly being disrespected, unappreciated, or drained of your energy, don't hesitate to take the necessary steps to distance yourself and reclaim your sense of self-worth. Your future self will thank you for it. To add a philosophical perspective, the existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre emphasized the concept of radical freedom and the responsibility that comes with it. Walking away from toxic relationships aligns with Sartre's idea that individuals are ultimately responsible for their own actions and choices. By asserting your autonomy and refusing to tolerate disrespect, you are embodying Sartre's ethos of living authentically and taking ownership of your life. In doing so, you affirm your inherent value and assert your right to pursue a life that aligns with your values and aspirations.